Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod, episode 101. I'm recording this one Tuesday night because Wednesday's going to be busy, so I'm going to have this out Wednesday morning. This episode, I want to continue talking about some of what I've spoke on. I'm going to get to breaking down the trade between the Sixers and the Mavericks, which happened just a little bit ago. I'm also going to talk about a small little preview for the Boston-Cleveland game tonight. And by the time this episode airs, you will have known who won that game. But that is 1 and 2 in the Eastern Conference. Squaring off in Boston should be a good one. Also going to talk about some of the games yesterday and some surprising teams, one in a good way and one in a bad way. So let's start off with our surprising teams. We're going to recap a couple of the games last night. We saw the Thunder destroy the Bucks. Bucks were without Giannis, Dame, a lot of their better players, and Oklahoma did what they should have. They took full advantage and dominated. Okay, great game for them. They did what they were supposed to. Milwaukee, I don't know if it was injury or rest or what it was, but you need your guys playing and you need to find something and figure a level of play out, because your level of play is just not cutting it. You were passed up by the Pacers recently for your 5th seed, so now you're around that 6 and 7 area. You don't want to end up in the play-in. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think they have Tony around. I don't necessarily know if trading is the key, but they do need to get younger. So a trade would help. You have to get some role players, but it's hard because of the tax they put in. You can go 1 for 1. That's really hard to make trades happen unless maybe you get a couple team, maybe 3 or 4 team deal, and you make something happen there. But otherwise, it's pretty difficult to move guys and get something decent in return. But like I said, we're keeping in touch with that. Before I continue going on, speaking of a trade deadline, I just want to let everyone know Friday is going to be our trade deadline breakdown episode, so don't miss that one. That's going to be a special one. I will at least give a thought on each of the trades that happened on trade deadline day, and if anything happens after this, like say on a Wednesday, tonight or Wednesday, I'll break that down too. So don't miss Friday's episode. It's going to be a special one. It's going to be our first ever trade deadline breakdown episode, and I can't wait for that one. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. Okay, now back to some of last night's games. New York beat Houston with a huge 40-some point game from Jalen Brunson. Houston, and I keep saying it, Houston is playing terrific basketball right now. I keep saying it over and over again, but Ime Udoka, he deserves a lot of credit for just the style he brought in, the hustle, the competitiveness. These guys are playing their hearts out right now, and the Knicks got past them, but they didn't dominate them. It was a close game, and Houston almost had it. It took Brunson's spectacular play to pull out this game in New York. I love it. I love it from both teams. Both teams are scrapping, fighting, and I love what I'm seeing from both. Houston on the defensive end, New York on the offensive end, and the defense for the Knicks is getting better, and the offense for the Rockets is getting better. So I love seeing the progress we're seeing for both teams throughout the season so far. Trae Young hit a buzzer beater last night. Well, not buzzer beater, but game-winning shot with 10th on the clock to put down the Detroit Pistons. Big shot from him. He's been balling out since being what he called trade from the All-Star game. He said you can't even call it snubbed anymore, you call it trade. And he's been balling since then, playing really good basketball. Trying to show he should have been an All-Star, and I think there's a case for it. But there's also, who do you take off? So, there's points and there's not, and a lot of times it goes by records if guys' stats are similar. And, that's where we are. But it's unfortunate that a player like Trae Young has missed the All-Star game 2 straight years with averaging over 20 points and over 10 assists. That's a hard pill to swallow, if you ask me. I think Trae Young is an amazing player, and he deserves more credit. He's underrated at this point, in my opinion. But we saw Orlando drop a game again to Golden State. They've lost 4 straight and like 8 of their last 9 or something crazy like that. Orlando's just, they were playing really, really good basketball. Now they find themselves with a losing record at 24-27. I know they've had a lot of injuries, but when they were going through the injuries, they actually played better than they're playing right now with some of their players back. So I'm not sure what they need to find or what style of play they need to get back to. Maybe they're too reliant on one player right now. Maybe Paolo and Franz and relying on these guys. Maybe they have to get back to that unselfish, move the ball around, everybody get their style of basketball. I don't know, but just they've lost something in the last few games. They're not playing that what I call Orlando basketball in a really good way, and we just aren't seeing that right now. But the team that's playing really good, so Orlando's unexpected play for surprising play in a bad way. Surprising play in a good way, winning 8 of their last 9 is the Portland Trailblazers. Who would have seen that coming? The fact that they're still 21-29. But the fact that they have 21 wins at the 50 game mark of the season, I don't think anyone projected that. I think they projected these guys to maybe get 20 or 21 wins for the season. And the fact that these guys are going out and competing, you have to commend what Chauncey Billups has done. Amazing coaching over there. And I believe he's the coach for your future, and he's building these young guys. These young guys are going out there and they're playing for him. They're really trying and really getting after it. Anthony Simons is playing good. Scoot Henderson, Sheldon Sharp. Aiton's had a couple good games the last week or so. He's had a few pretty good games in there. They still have Joe and Grant on the team. I mean, really, they're playing and they're competing, and that's all you really want to see from a team like them. So they're my team that's surprising right now, and I just want to say surprising in a good way. They are moving up. Now, at this point, you probably won't make the playoffs. They're still far away from the play-in and the playoffs. But I just like that we're seeing quicker progress than I think anyone thought, and that's a good thing. So I commend them on that. Now let's break down this Dallas trading Quentin Grimes in the 2nd-round pick to Philly for Caleb Martin. Like this for Dallas, you got a big wing, 3-and-D wing. We saw what Caleb Martin did with the Miami Heat when the Heat made it to the finals a couple years ago. Stellar numbers. There was a possibility that he got Eastern Conference MVP. So, I think that's a really good play when he was in the consideration to give that Eastern Conference MVP award. We haven't seen that production from him since, but that just shows he's a good player. He fits on the championship team. He can play championship level basketball. What is Dallas looking for? Guys that fit on a good team that can play championship level basketball. He's big wing. I like the move for Dallas. I think it was a very good move for them. Philly. With Philly, I don't know if this was maybe a 1-year contract, and maybe they're trading him because the 1 year is almost up and doesn't look like they're really going to make the playoffs or be a threat in the playoffs, and we don't know if Embiid's going to miss more time, if he's going to end up being out for the season or what. So I don't know if maybe that's the reason why. I don't remember what his contract was when he signed with them. But if it's like a 2 or 3 year deal, it makes you wonder, is Philly considering starting to break things down and rebuild? Something to keep an eye on as we draw closer to the NBA trade deadline. I think there's going to be a lot more trades happening, a lot more moving pieces. I just want to mention, they said Jimmy Butler has torn down multiple trade offers that's been brought to him, saying he don't want to go to those places. And these are contending teams, they're saying he only wants to go to Phoenix. And they said Golden State offered for him, multiple contending teams, and he's torn them down. So, another interesting situation keep an eye on is that, and why. If you really want out of Miami and this is as bad as what you're saying and you're seeing the treatment you're getting there, why are you not just taking the opportunity to get out of there, get paid, get the new contract? I'm not really sure what, is Jimmy Butler playing the long game? I'm not really sure what game he's playing, but this may end up coming back and biting him, and he may not end up going anywhere, and he may be stuck with the Miami Heat, and we see how that's going right now. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out around the trade deadline. And then let's go to our preview for 1 and 2 in the Eastern Conference. It's in Boston. It's on TNT. Huge game. Cleveland Cavaliers at the Boston Celtics. I think it's going to come down to matchups. I think if the guards for Cleveland can produce and outplay the guards for Boston, and by outplay, I don't necessarily mean just score more than them. I mean you have to. We know what Jrue Holiday and Derek White's going to do. They're going to go out and defend and hit timely shots and do what they need to for Boston win. I think not only do you have to outplay them, you have to limit their shot percentage. You have to limit their shots and them knocking down these timely shots. You have to defend them as they're going to defend you. Try to get less production out of them because their job is to get less production out of you while like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum go off. So if you can limit their guards and keep it to Brown and Tatum, because you know Brown and Tatum's going to get theirs, you have a shot. Now, vice versa for Cleveland, if you limit the guards and your guards are hitting timely shots and Garland and Mitchell don't play how they've been playing, then of course you have the chance to dominate this game. So I think it's going to come down to if you can limit which guards get limited and can you slow down Brown and Tatum a little bit. You have Mobley. Strus may be a little bit of an issue if he's in the starting lineup. Jaylen Brown may have a field day with that. We've seen that before. So those are some matchups to watch. Mobley may be guarding Tatum. That may be a matchup to watch as well. And if Mobley starts bumping in the paint, does Tatum want that physicality? Again, matchups to watch. Then a wild card matchup. Who do you get more out of? Because they're both iffy on a nightly basis. Do you get more out of Porzingis or Allen? Matchups like these will end up deciding the game. So it'll be interesting to see. And we also know Boston's going to look for that switch. They do the screen. They get Garland defending Tatum, and they try to get Tatum go off. Last game in Cleveland, that came back and bit them. First game in Boston, it worked to Boston's advantage. So which side do we get of that? Again, all interesting matchups to watch tonight. Tune in. It's going to be a great game. And then after that, you get the Battle of LA. And no, we won't see Luka Doncic. There's a chance we see Luka next week against Utah. And a chance we see Anthony Davis for the Mavericks suit up against the Boston Celtics. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that too on future episodes. Thank you for joining. Bye.